we're put on what they call the crap night of the Emmys, which is really funny because people don't realize, a week before the Emmys, there's another Emmys for all the shows that, it's just like a lot of technical
makeup
things. And for some reason, Best Animated Series is in that night, which is so ridiculous.
Over the years, many animated characters have appeared on the primetime Emmy telecast, including Yogi Bear, Huckleberry Hound, The Simpsons, The Griffins, Hank Hill, Rick and Morty, and the South Park Gang.
Dude, I don't think we should be standing next to you, Kenny.
Yet, the Outstanding Animated Program category has been routinely reserved for the Creative Arts ceremony, or as Trey Parker might say, the crappy Emmys. Okay, that may be a little harsh, as a lot of hard work goes on behind the scenes of the Creative Arts Emmys. Be it primetime, daytime, or creative arts, an Emmy is an Emmy, with all statuettes created equal. Let's be honest, however. The Creative Arts Emmys are never going to attract more press or celebrities than the Emmy ceremony that'll air on NBC and stream on Peacock in September. So why isn't animation invited to the party, especially since comedy, drama, reality TV, and variety are all represented at the main ceremony? The short answer is ratings. This isn't to say that animated programs don't have vast viewership. I'd even argue that animation has a wider audience than most late-night comedy shows, which are sadly becoming scarcer than daytime soaps. Even so, the Emmys want stars like Stephen Colbert walking down the red carpet and giving speeches.
Animation will always, even though it's the most watched thing, it will always be downgraded below even the most middling television shows and movies, because for the most part, people don't want to cartoon characters.
As Trey Parker told Variety in 2008, you can't have Cartman walking down the aisle to pick up the award. Parker isn't the only one who feels this way.
I mean, I really was excited. I really wanted an Emmy. A lot of my friends had worked for SNL and Letterman, and they had Emmys, and in fact, in my circle, I think more people had Emmys than didn't. So I really wanted one, and so it was pretty thrilling. And I think that may have been the first award show I ever went to. So yeah, I was I forgave how kind of super dull the Creative Arts Emmys were that time, but not the next time.
Parker's comment also echoes something that Simpsons producer James L. Brooks said in 1991. The Simpsons had appeared at the 42nd Primetime Emmy Awards a year earlier, but animated program was still restricted to the Creative Arts Emmys. Brooks was also frustrated that the TV Academy continually denied their request to be submitted as a comedy series. Brooks said at the time, "We were good enough to be exploited. We weren't good enough to be included." If even The Simpsons at the peak of its popularity couldn't bring change, what will?
This award is the biggest farce I ever saw.
What about the Emmys?
I stand corrected.
It isn't surprising that animation is restricted for the Creative Arts Emmys, which mainly focus on on-scene talent like visual effects artists, costume designers, and set designers. Animators are similarly unsung heroes. Even the ones who achieve massive success, like Genndy Tartakovsky, aren't necessarily household names. A random person on the street may know Dexter's Lab or Samurai Jack, but not the man who created them. There are only a handful of animators who can be considered celebrities in the traditional sense. One is Simpsons creator Matt Groening. Another is Seth MacFarlane, who did get to attend the 61st Primetime Emmy Awards in 2009 when Family Guy was nominated for Outstanding Comedy Series. Then there are Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the creators of South Park.
Because The Simpsons is probably the biggest show in American history ever, and it's not on, it's on the crap night.
Yeah, I think we ought to be able to change that.
Yeah, I think so.
If the Emmys care about ratings above all else, 2026 is the year to etch out a place for animation on the main telecast. Why? Because South Park will more than likely win for its most controversial, talked about, and funniest episode in years, Sermon on the Mount. In a climate where Donald Trump is the easiest target for comedians, there are really only two parodies that stand out. One is Saturday Night Live, which did earn Alec Baldwin an Emmy for his Trump impression.
At long last, Mr. President, here is your Emmy.
The other is South Park, which commenced its 27th season with Saddam Hussein essentially being reincarnated into a former reality TV host turned politician who falls into bed with Satan.
Come here, gang. Ah, come on, Satan. You know you can't resist this.
I can't even see anything, it's so small.
It was childish, smartass, not even remotely subtle, and exactly what the country needed in July 2025. It was especially daring in the wake of The Late Show's cancellation, both having parent company Paramount in common.
Yeah, well, guess who owns CBS? Paramount. You really want to end up like Colbert? You guys gotta stop being stupid.
Even after the Trump administration trashed the episode, the White House went quiet over the ensuing weeks, as it became clear that nobody, not even the president, can beat South Park. In a world where satire and reality are becoming interchangeable, South Park reminded us that parody is alive and is still a powerful force. Parker echoed this at the 19th Television Honors, where he said,
"And to my daughter, Betty, I want to say, I know I kind of forced you into this, but don't ever be afraid. And don't ever let people tell you what you can and can't say and what you can and can't think, because you're always going to find people that agree with you. And you'll get one of these, maybe." So,
For all the lowbrow humor that South Park is known for, it's also a source of wisdom, which is reflected in Parker's speech. Now imagine if Parker gave a similar speech at the 78th Primetime Emmy Awards. Chances are that Parker and Stone won't attend this year's Creative Arts Emmys, which they stopped going to early in South Park's run. Part of that's because they just figured The Simpsons would always win.
I think we've been nominated 5 times.
Yeah.
And
we always lose at the Simpsons.
We just always lost.
We always lose.
When we should. Simpsons is a great show.
Eventually, South Park would join the winner's circle, picking up 5 Emmys thus far. Even then, Stone and Parker didn't return to the Creative Arts Emmys, primarily because they find them boring. The duo has attended other award shows, including the 65th Tony Awards when The Book of Mormon won Best Musical. They also made a mockery of the Academy Awards, showing up in designer dresses when Blame Canada was nominated for Best Original Song. I'm willing to wager that if Outstanding Animated Program is moved to the main Emmys, Stone and Parker might show up, especially with a South Park win seeming preordained. Both seem more invested in this year's Emmy race than usual, attending an FYC event in May. South Park already won at the Critics' Choice Awards this year. It also got nominated at the Annie Awards. While it lost that prize to Common Side Effects, the fact that Asifa Hollywood nominated South Park at all is telling, considering how that group has mostly overlooked the show in the past. South Park was also nominated at the PGA Awards in a historic first for animation. The Emmy seems like an inevitable final destination in its victory lap. I honestly believe that had South Park been submitted as a comedy this year, it would have gone nominated. That said, upsets happen. In recent years, this category has leaned more towards the shows with the highest quality animation, such as Arcane, Blue Eye Samurai, and The Simpsons for Treehouse of Horror 33. If voters are focusing on craft, the Emmy could go to Star Wars Visions, which Shinya Ohira of Studio Ghibli directed. Maybe voters will favor Bob's Burgers for its 300th episode, or they'll give Smiling Friends a farewell hug. I don't see Homer, a cracker bro from The Simpsons, or There's Something About Morty from Rick and Morty surprising, but neither is outside the realm of possibility. It would be reminiscent of the 2009 Primetime Emmys when Outstanding Music and Lyrics was randomly moved to the main telecast. That's because Mother Lover was nominated, leading everyone to believe that Justin Timberlake and The Lonely Island might get on stage to accept an Emmy for that viral hit. Instead, the Emmy went to Hugh Jackman opening number from the 81st Annual Academy Awards. Funnily enough, Rick and Morty co-creator Dan Harmon was among that song's co-writers.
I think they moved this award to the primetime because there was an increase in sex appeal in the nominees, and you guys gave the award to the nerdiest, ugliest people. We apologize for that.
After that, the Music and Lyrics category was banished back to the Creative Arts Emmys. It wouldn't be the first time South Park lost in an upset either. After winning its first Emmy in 2005 for Best Friends Forever, many assumed that South Park would win again for Trapped in the Closet, aka the Tom Cruise Scientology episode. The episode was even referenced on the main Emmy telecast, as an animated Conan O'Brien stumbled into Stan's closet.
Dad! Conan O'Brien won't come out of the closet!
What? Mr. O'Brien, you need to come out of the closet.
Ah! There's someone else in there!
Bruce?
Yet, the Emmy went to The Simpsons for the seemingly never-ending story. In the wake of this win, Simpsons showrunner Al Jean said, "This is what happens when you don't mock Scientology." Hollywood has its fair share of Scientologists, including Bart Simpson's voice actress, Nancy Cartwright. Some voters didn't want to back the message that Scientology is a scam, allegedly. However, they're more inclined to back the message that the president has a micro-penis, allegedly. If animation were moved to the main ceremony this year, it's safe to assume that it's because the producers want to hear Parker and Stone speak. If one of their animation peers ultimately gets on stage instead, be it Matt Selman, Lauren Burchard, Dan Harmon, Shira O'Hara, or Zach Haddle and Michael Cusack, it would still be a historic moment for animation, one that we may never see again. I personally believe that outstanding animated programs should be a permanent staple of the main Emmy ceremony. If there was ever a year to invite animation to the party, though, this is it.
Hey! Wait a minute. What? This doesn't look anything like last night's Cable Ace Awards. Everything's all fancy.
That's because we were on last night, Cartman, when they did the non-televised awards for little unimportant shows like ours.
Outstanding Animated Program is currently slated to be presented on September 6, 2026, not at the televised ceremony airing on September 14th. Not only is the TV Academy unlikely to shift this, but they're actually moving 5 categories off the main ceremony to the earlier ceremonies. 2 of these are for acting categories. If actors are being booted off the main telecast, animation doesn't stand much chance. I guess so they can dedicate more time to the comedic stylings of Mariska Hargitay. You might remember her from such comedies as The Love Guru. According to Variety, the TV Academy is also dropping the Creative Arts moniker, simply calling them Emmys. That's not very creative, but there's another word starting with C that sums up the situation.
You people play games by killing animals and oppress women!
It's better than a civilization that spends its time watching millionaires walk down the red carpet at the Emmys.
He's got us there, dude.
Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and for more updates on animation, awards, and everything in between, check out my site, cartooncontender.com. Also check out my books, Bright and Shiny, A History of Animation at Award Shows, Volumes 1 through 3 available now wherever books and ebooks are sold.